Forget all of the elation that comes with touchdowns and field-splitting passes. Here are the most heartbreaking moments in the NFL that completely left us frozen. To start our list today, we have the one time Ryan Shazier's career ended in a second. Ryan Shazier was a competent Pittsburgh Steelers linebacker who had his career ultimately dented by injuries. From his rookie year, he had been dropped out of the team on several occasions because of his physical well-being. But don't be fooled. Whenever he was 100%, he gave his 100%. However, in a game against the Cincinnati Bengals in 2017, Ryan went in on a tackle on wide receiver Josh Malone. It looked like a usual tackle, not until he didn't get up on his feet again. Ryan was immediately stretched out, and after examinations, it was discovered that he had suffered a spinal concussion, making it unable for him to walk. Shazier immediately underwent surgeries, and what was left was a hopeful return to the gridiron for the star. But after 3 years of waiting, he came out with the most disheartening announcement. "I'm here to let the world know that today I am officially retiring from the game I love so much." Damn, and that was the end of Ryan Shazier in the NFL. However, this next player couldn't hold his nerves during the game and completely broke down in emotions. After scoring an important touchdown in a dramatic game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, Cowboys wide receiver Dez Bryant went down on his knees in tears and pointed to the sky. It was actually a tribute to his father, MacArthur Hatton, who had passed away the day before due to an illness. Dez didn't just kneel down to one touchdown to give his dad a befitting send-off on the gridiron. He racked up 6 catches for 117 yards and that 50-yard touchdown, all to send his father to his final destination in style. In 2012, the Indianapolis Colts lost what seemed to be their most valuable asset all season, their head coach, Chuck Pagano. Pagano had worked wonders in the NFL that season, but in September of that year, he had to leave the team as he had been diagnosed with leukemia. Offensive coordinator Bruce Arians assumed the interim post, but behind the scenes, Pagano still kept sending messages, team talks, and bits of his tactical genius to the Colts side that held an impressive 10-5 streak going into the final game week. By game week 17, Pagano returned to head his side against the Titans. And despite already having their postseason spot locked in, the Colts came in with a Super Bowl-like performance, completely dominating the game, all because their head coach was back. At the end of the season, a tribute video was played for Pagano, alongside an amazing standing ovation from the supporters and the Texans sideline. Absolutely more than a game. That wasn't the only emotional tribute we've seen in a game. Al Davis, the owner of the Oakland Raiders and one of the monumental names in the modern National Football League, passed away in 2011. Even though he passed on age 82, losing a legend still came with great pain for the league. So, during the Raiders' next game against the Texans, they dedicated their performance to Big Allie. With help from Michael Huff's late interception, they held on to a 5-point win. At the sound of the final whistle, the Raiders went into a full stream of emotions. Head coach Hugh Jackson went down on his knees in tears. They weren't just glad that they won. These men were fulfilled that they made Al Davis proud wherever he was. As touching as that was, it still doesn't reach this emotional announcement of the great John Lennon's death during a football game. Sometimes, things that happen outside the gridiron still finds ways of getting to us football fans. Back in 1980, during the New England Patriots vs. Miami Dolphins game, famous announcer Howard Cosell, together with Frank Gifford and Don Meredith, were in charge of the Monday Night Football broadcast. With the game tied deep in the fourth quarter, a very sad Cosell made a very sad announcement on air. The game went on, but every single person that witnessed this moment certainly felt something. What made this moment much sadder was that Cosell actually knew John Lennon on a personal level. and had interviewed him twice, with one being on the Monday Night Football show. He must have been devastated. Well, wherever you are, Lennon, keep resting in power. As emotional as that announcement was, it didn't hit as bad as that of Jerome Brown's death. During the Billy Graham crusade in 1992, Philadelphia defensive end Reggie White was invited to speak in the Veterans Stadium. However, just before he took to the podium, he was told that his teammate and close friend, Eagles' defensive end Jerome Brown, had died in a car crash. When Reggie took to the podium, he ditched whatever sermon he had in store and gave a very moving announcement of his friend's death. Reggie delivered absolutely moving words for his friend and let the world know who the real Jerome Brown was, a hero. Now, let's lighten the mood up with the best gender reveal you'll ever witness. The Buffalo Bills went up against the LA Rams on the opening week of the 2022 season. In the third quarter, Bills wide receiver Isaiah McKenzie caught a 7-yard pass and completed a touchdown to send his side 6 points up. Just right after he scored, he looked for the nearest camera in the SoFi Stadium and screamed, "It's a boy! It's a boy!" He had just done a gender reveal for his pregnant sister in front of millions of fans across the world. It was a very special moment for the family, and a very thoughtful move from Isaiah McKenzie. Well, while he was lucky to celebrate the birth of a child on the field, Matt Bryant mourned a child on the gridiron. Back in 2008, the Bucs' legendary kicker had a tough choice to make. His 3-month-old son, Matthew Tryson Bryant, had passed on in his sleep during the week, and just a day after the infant's funeral, Matt chose to play against the Packers, despite not training throughout with the team. And when he stepped on the field that day, he was completely magical, landing 3 field goals, including a game-winning 62-yard field goal. He blew a kiss to the heavens after making each one, knowing little Tryson was watching him from the skies. But what Tori Smith had to go through in 2012 was emotionally excruciating. During the 2012 regular season, Baltimore Ravens wide receiver Tori Smith put on a career-defining performance against the New England Patriots, totaling 127 yards and 2 touchdowns on 6 catches. He was a complete force. But what many didn't know was that Tori played with his heart as heavy as possible. The Sunday morning before the game, it was reported that Smith's 19-year-old brother, Tevin Chris Jones, had died. He was involved in a motorcycle accident in Virginia. Tori had heard the news and left team camp to be with his family. But by the time he had arrived, the question was whether he would still play. However, when the team was warming up for the game, Tori joined them and asked to play. He wanted to heal his aching heart and make his brother proud, and he did it in pure style. This next player never remained the same after this play. In 2007, the Buffalo Bills played against the Denver Broncos, and during the game, Bills tight end Kevin Everett went in for a tackle on Dominic Hickson on the 20-yard line, but never got back to his feet after. Kevin had injured his neck, and immediately, an ambulance rushed to transport him off the field. While he was getting stretched out, both the Broncos and Bills players surrounded him to hide his state from the camera. He immediately underwent surgery on his vertebrae, and fortunately, regained his mobility after 3 months. But Kevin Everett never played football ever again. And finally, we have a player that literally stopped living on the field. On the 2nd of January 2023, the Bills vs. Bengals game almost turned into a death wish for Tomar Hamlin. With minutes left in the first quarter, the safety went in on tackle on Bengals wide receiver T. Hamilton. Tomar had connected on the tackle attempt, but his helmet had hit Hamilton's shoulder. He got up immediately, but after a few steps, he awkwardly fell down. The whole arena was filled with fear. Tomar's family ran on the field, and he was immediately transported to the University of Cincinnati Medical Center, where it was revealed that he had suffered a very rare cardiac arrest. The NFL authorities asked for the game to go on, but the players refused and walked out of the field. After being unconscious for 3 days, Tomar woke up and the first question he asked was, "Did we win?" And the doctor in charge, Dr. Timothy Prittis, replied, "Yes, Tomar, you won. You won the game of life." That's it. I'll have to get a new pack of tissues after these tears. Do join us next time for more exciting and probably less emotional content. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.